Hello Mavens, how you're doing? I hope you're splendid and energized as we speak. Today in this video, we'll be covering up the second video of this series of social media marketing. In this video, the whole process will pan out to be how can you create social media strategy step-by-step process. So welcome to this video. Let's do a quick recap of what we have done in last video. We talked about the 15 best things that will help you excel in your social media marketing game. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you do. The link is in the description and somewhere here as well. So make sure you check out that video as well. So without a waste of time, let's jump on to today's video. In this video, we'll be talking about how can you create your own strategy to get mesmerizing results for your social media marketing journey. We'll go through the fact that what is buyer's persona, what are the strategies that you should lay out, what are the researches that you should be doing to make a perfect strategy for your social media marketing, and so on and so forth. So make sure you stick throughout the videos to get a wide perspective of social media marketing. And without further ado, my name is Mavenwit and let this video begin. So the strategy that we will help you lay down today consists of two parts. Number one, you'll have to ask questions to the clients that you're working for. If you are a social media marketer, strategist, or so on and so forth, that so many things are there, you need to ask some question to the brand you are working for. And if you are a one-person show, then you might have to answer this question on your own to lay out the best strategy for you. And the second process that we'll be talking about is actually mapping and formulating a strategy for the growth of your social media marketing journey. And when I say your journey, I definitely mean the work that you're putting, the research that you're putting. How can we enhance that so that it gives you the right results? So please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment down below if you have any questions related to social media marketing on this video. And without a further ado, let's start the process. Now, before you start laying your strategy, you need to ask your brand these questions. If you're not working for brand, then you need to ask your own self these questions. Not good. Definitely not good. I definitely need to be more responsible to make these videos. And that's exactly the kind of question that you should ask yourself and your brand. What is going to be your responsibility in this marketing journey or in this strategy layout journey? And of course, a good client always knows that there are different amount of responsibilities for social media journey, and that is the reason why big team works for just one project like social media marketing, which is like very big project. That's why it's kind of prerequisite to have some big teams for social media marketing, because there are so many different factors that comes into the picture and so many people have different expertise in the particular field. But apart from just sending your job profile, make sure you lay out all these factors that there are social media management, social media strategies, social media content creator, and so on and so forth. There are so many different factors. You make sure you tell your client about all of this and let them decide what they actually need and what they already have installed. And you can always charge them separately for the different job that you'll be doing as social media marketing. So what are the questions that you should actually ask yourself or the brand you're working for? The questions that you actually should ask are whether you'll just create strategy for them or you'll be doing other work for them as well. Whether you only have the responsibility of strategizing, making plan and layouts and all that stuff, or you also have to do execution part like posting it on social media, or other team will take care of that. And you should always ask that do you also have a management responsibility, that do you have to engage with the audience when the comments come, likes come, stories resharing and all that stuff. You should always ask that as well. You see, if you're a beginner, you might not know all of this, but there are different factors, different people working on different expertise in social media marketing. Find out what your is and make sure you capitalize on that one. And that's why you can't take social media marketing as one-man game and be so underpaid for that. You should have that one skill and get paid worth your skill. You definitely thought that the questions are over, right? Well, that's not how social media game stands. But what you should know is what their brand stands for. I know what will happen if you don't ask this question, and a good strategy isn't one of them. So never ever neglect this lining of question. What audience are they targeting? What are the marketing strategies that they want you to apply? What according to them people expect from them and their brand? And what do they think that sets their brand apart from the other brands? Answer to this question will give you enormous amount of depth in terms of the layout, voice of content, and the planning of content, that how it should be planned, what are the voices that should be used, and what are the content strategies that should be applied. And a good marketer never misses this question. And you all know who is good marketer, right? Imagine that you can't open your eyes for one day and you have to run 100 miles. You'll be pretty much screwed, right? And that's how your marketing strategy would be. If you don't ask this question, that what are their goals from the campaigns that you're doing? Is it to increase the brand awareness, or is it just to build trust between the brands? Is it just to increase the engagement that like this video, like this post, okay? And you like this video too. Or it may be just to increase the sales to get revenue. Or it also can be to get more followers than their competitors, just to say that we got more followers than them, okay? And to know this, you have to ask this question, that what are their goals from the campaigns that you'll be doing as social media marketer. You see, if you get the motive, you can drive the campaigns accordingly rather than going blindly. Run with the eyes. You see, that was like what the previous joke. Okay. Alright. The next thing that we should ask is their audience demographics or the customer persona. Customer demographics are the best way to know the audience layout, where they are from, what are their age, the region they are from, and so on and so forth. In order to stay relevant throughout, you have to know the demographics of audience. You can't target US audience and expect sell in Europe. You should be thorough with the demographics. And that's the next question that you should ask. What if I tell you that you can't open your eyes for one day and you have to run 100 miles? You'd be pretty much screwed, right? And that's how screwed you will be if you don't know your motives in social media marketing. That's where the metrics comes into the picture. You should always ask which metrics your brand is going to look up to. Are they looking for reach? Are they looking for impressions? Are they looking for conversion rates? And what KPIs are they gonna look up to? The more you know, the more you can work on it. That's a pretty smart thing to do if you ask me, because if you know that these are the metrics that they're gonna look up to, you can always work on those metrics. So always ask what are the metrics that they're gonna look up to as the target metrics. Do you ever go to restaurants and just wait for waiters to come up with your food? That's exactly how brand waits for the result. So make sure you always ask the expected time to attain the goals. They might have enormous amount of expectation, and you can cut some of those by giving them the realistic idea about how it is going to pan out. Your strategy definitely would take amount of time to get liable results. So always lay out the whole plan in front of them and make sure to address their unrealistic expectation, as the brands always do. Your client might not know the real time and real work that goes into it, but you should always lay them out and give them the real expectation that is achievable. Well, has it ever happened to you that you have enrolled for an internship for a particular job and you ends up doing all the jobs? Well, that's what happens in freelancing and social media marketing as well. Always ask if they have a copywriter or you'll be doing that job, or else make sure you get paid for that copywriting job as well. Because most of the time you enroll for a particular job and you end up doing all the job for them, which is definitely way more than what you have bargained for. And that's why you should always ask for the ads budget, so that you should have a relevant idea about how much it is going to cost and how much are they gonna cut you. Whatever happens, make sure you give them a valid idea how the ad budget is going to pan out. And the last question, I'm directly gonna cut to the chase. Do you have to take permission every single time when you execute new strategy? If yes, then on what stages? Because it takes humongous amount of times to get approval from the head and then execute the strategy. And you also have deadlines to be achieved because you have to get results in particular time. So make sure you ask this question and give them a real layout that how this is going to pan out and how this is gonna waste your time. So you can actually find an alternative for this, or you can actually increase the time. So these were the 8 questions that you really need to pitch in before you start social media marketing game. And since we have got that out of our discussion now, let's formulate a best strategy that can help you get social media marketing game to a peak. Now let's formulate a best strategy for your social media marketing. Number 1 is research process. Since you have got the answers of all the questions that we have discussed before, you'll have a wide perspective or constraints. Some constraints of course will be there no matter what you do. So you'll have all of those for research purposes, and that's where you can jot down all your research ideas, and then you can pan out some ideas out of it and make a best strategy. for your social media marketing game. And some of the key focuses on that should be on the tone of your brand. Tone is the very important part of a particular brand. Let's take an example of Apple. When Apple came into the picture, they didn't talk more about the specification that flat screen, this much space, this much processor, so on and so forth. What they all did is 1000 songs in your pocket, and we were all intrigued by that. So make sure you set the tone of your brand perfectly. The second thing that you can focus on is competitors' research. What are their performances? How they are performing on social media? What content is doing good for them? Are they posting more jokes? Are they doing more motivational stuff? Are they giving more informational stuff? You should always have your eye on their content as well. The next thing that you can do is try to check the analytics of their page. When I say there, I don't mean competitors. I mean the brand you are working for. What are the previous analytics that they had? What are the success that they have gotten? What are the impressions? What are the reach? In order for you to know that you're growing or not, you need to know the previous analytics. That's where the comparison parts comes into the picture. If you are doing well, that means your analytics will be better than the previous analytics. So that's why you should always note down the previous analytics, current platform of the brand, and the content that they have been posting. Let's say your strategy is more towards video content and they are doing more of a post content or a information content. You should always be able to have that transition smoothly. You can't just move on to video content all of a sudden. You don't know how people will react. That's why the smooth transition is always the best way to go towards. That's why you should never try to post on every platform just at once. If you are a newbie, I know there's a utter temptation that, okay, I want to post here also, here also, here also, here also. But just don't. Please start with one or two platform, excel there, and then channelize those audience towards the other platforms and make sure they share your content. And the last thing, which is pretty important, is watch out for the dead content. Figure out what content is working, what sort of ideas are working, videos are working or not, post content is working or not. Okay, the written content is not getting that much of engagement. Always watch out for such contents and try to rectify and demolish them. That brings us to number 2 point, which is creating customer persona. The chances are you've already figured it out by talking with your brand, but if not, then this is your chance. Chances may be overrated. Maybe this is the time. This is the time to do it. Why? Because this is the show time, baby. You gotta be prepared with the audience that you'll be facing. And in order to do that, you have to come up with relevant content. So that's why figure out what the brand is selling, at the same time what customers are expecting from the brand. And more you do that, the more you'll be able to create content related to that. Relevancy has always been the key for content creation. And more relevant you are, the better content you'll make and more audience will get engaged to it. So make sure you figure out the persona of audience that are there and make sure the content is according to that. Number 3, finalize the platform. You don't want to go out on every single platform with same content, because that is just chaotic and spamming if all of the people are following you on all of the platforms. You gotta come up with different stripes, right? Let me just give you an example. If you wear same t-shirt on a party, school function, and a different party again, you might not be liked by everyone. See, if you're a B2B business, you might not focus on Instagram as much as you would focus on LinkedIn, because that's where the more business oriented people are. You can always use a bit of common sense and a bit of presence of mind in order to drive your decision and your strategy. So make sure you finalize platform and you finalize it right. Number 4, finalize the content. We have covered it a bit upwards, giving you a decent idea. Let's dive deep into it. Once you get an idea about customers' persona, you can drive your content according to it. Let's say a customers are looking for information. You can always put informational content. Now this informational content also get varied. Do you want to post video informational content or you want to post written informational content? That's the key of knowing what your audience genuinely needs or wants. And that's why I told you to break the platforms down. A blog post won't work on YouTube because you don't know where to post a blog post on YouTube. And normal photo uploads is also not going to work on YouTube. What is going to work on YouTube is videos. So you might as well post videos on YouTube, post on Instagram, or later article, blog post on LinkedIn, and that's how you can orient all the content game and make sure you post the best content out there. So finalize the content for particular platforms and drive that strategy. Do it its potential. Number 5 is keyword research for description and tags. Just because SEO isn't that much important in social media marketing doesn't mean that it's not at all important, right? Writing appropriate keywords in your description holds the key of you getting explored. What does mean by explored? Well, the platform should know what this content is about. You should always lay out a plan for a perfect keyword research as well. Just because it's not most important thing doesn't mean it's not at all important. Now, number 6, put it all in your content calendar. Well, we have already discussed about content calendars in our previous videos. Make sure you check it out in the description and lay out a perfect plan for your content calendar. And in some cases, if you're working with a team, they might have SOPs, standard operating procedures. If your client already has that, make sure you ask about it as well. Creating content calendar sets the tone for the whole month. So make sure you give it immense importance while laying out the calendar. Number 7, create an inventory of content. Best practice before you start posting anything is to make an inventory of content. You should at least have a week's content in prior in order to not miss dates, because consistency is the key in content marketing. You have to be consistent in posting. You should post daily. You should be relevant. And that's where the inventory of content comes into the picture. If you're starting a social media journey, always remember that if you have posts, if you have videos prior, it's always easier to post them with a perfect description rather than making them and posting them in hurry. Make an inventory and then go all buzz in. Social media is crucial to any company in today's world. It sets the tone for your brand and it sets the tone for your company. No matter what size of brand you are, a social media marketing is what you always gonna need going ahead in marketing. Many brands are yet to establish their presence, but to the one who have already established presence, follows, likes, comments are more important. That's not truth. Like, follow, comments are not the only important thing in social media game. Wanna know what is? Well, check out the next video that will be coming up very soon about social media marketing tips and tricks. If this video brought any value to you, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Till then, this is Tanmay from Mavenwit, signing off.